Hello, everybody. It is Road to Recovery. Once again, we are doing my story series, Stories of a Porn Addict. And today I'm going to call this one Fishing Expedition. Why fishing expedition? I used to like to go fishing when I was a boy. I was out all the time on my bicycle, and part of the process, because of the town that I lived in, a lot of the roads were undeveloped. And you would just go down these empty roads, and there'd be a canal running alongside of the road. And in the process of doing that, you would occasionally find discarded garbage. And as a young man and as a young boy, I would constantly find discarded pornography on the side of the road. Always happened. It was motivating for me to go fishing on very long trips where I would take my bicycle like way out into the outskirts of town because I would constantly score pornography stash. And of course, this was in the days before online pornography. And I would just go out there with my fishing gear, sometimes with a backpack, so I could scoop up my hoard. As I got older, I didn't stop it, so I was still motivated to go out and look. And I think in retrospect, what was going on was that it was the reward process had been burned into my mind. I didn't want to stop what I was doing because I was always rewarded with the novelty of finding more pornography. And oddly enough, even like getting into my 20s, there were still ample amounts of pornography to be found on the side of the road. So I kept doing it. I kept going out. As I got older, I stopped using my bicycle and was using my car. So this process repeated itself, and when I got into college, I was using my car to go way into the outskirts of town, and I still liked fishing. It was still nice to get out in the nature, but there was this perverse mixture of reward seeking through sexual gratification and going out and enjoying nature. So get out there, nice fresh air with your fishing pole. At some point, I have to confess that there was more the anticipation of finding pornography than there was the reward of catching a fish. Um, but I still packed up my gear and still went out fishing. Over time, I started finding less and less reward in the actual fishing itself. So this one time, I'm out fishing. I had my fishing gear in the car, and I'm way out in the outskirts of town. And the way the block struck, it's like a grid block structure. They built it with this theory that if you build it, they will come and populate this area. So they gridded out this entire system of roads, and there was no houses out there, but lots of canals. So I was in the outskirts of town and was cutting down this dirt road. I was taking a shortcut from one area to another, and I found a stack of pornography. And I was like, "Yay!" So I went to this. I just stopped in this area that was on this dirt road and started masturbating, and very happy with my find. And then I went to start the car, and the car wouldn't start. Yeah, that happened. So here I am in the middle of nowhere. There's no houses around for miles. And so I'm like, shit, what am I going to do, man? I'm out in the middle of freaking nowhere on this dirt road. So I got out of my car, and there was a series of small canals, and the small canals connected to larger canals. And so I could have hiked 10 miles back to my house, which would have been literally an all day hike. This is back before I had a cell phone. Or I could just try wandering around and pray to God I found somebody. And sure enough, I'm going down through these canals, and somebody else was out there fishing. And I was happy that I had found this particular person. And I was like, hey man, my car's back in the woods. I was fishing and got stuck in some sand, and now my car won't start. So this person's like, well, I can't leave right now because I've got other family members that are out fishing as well, and we're waiting for them to come back. But there's a dude over there. And so I was like, oh, thanks. I walked over to this guy, and this guy had his two. He was a middle-aged man, and he had two boys with him. I would guess they were someplace between the age of 8 and 10 years old. And that man was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come help you out." So I'm telling him where exactly the car is at, and as he's taking me down, and we're going down this road, it's a dirt road, and he's like, "But what were you doing out here?" And I was like, "Oh, I was fishing." He's like, "Oh, okay. There's no canals here." And it's like, actually, there is a canal on the other side, and I wasn't wrong about that. There actually was a canal on the other side. But immediately you could tell that he was a little suspicious, and I'm putting myself in his shoes. He's probably like, "There's this guy. I have no idea who he is, and he's taking me down this dirt road." And I would never harm anybody. It's not part of my nature. But you could see, like, his spidey senses are kicking in. And we finally get to my car, and before we had gotten there, before I had left my car, I took the porn and I stashed it. I like threw it out into the woods, and I covered it up with like leaves and pine needles and stuff like that. And I'm not there. 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So jump out of his truck, go look at my car. I pop open the hood. I explain, yeah, it just wasn't starting. He's like, yeah, we should probably try jumping, and that's what I was thinking. Maybe something's wrong with the battery. So he gets the jumper cables out, and not 60 seconds had passed. These kids had ran out to the woods and they had found the porn stash. Found it, and one of them like bringing it out, like, "Oh, look what I found!" Shit, shit. So I'm playing stupid, like, dude, what did you find? And the dad is ignoring that. He's just trying to get my car started. And so we're not at the embarrassing part yet, right? So all this had happened. He gets the boys back. He assholes getting back in the car, and so the kids get back into his truck, and my car starts up. It starts right away. Shit! Thank God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so I get it in the drive. Thank him again. I'd had no money to pay him because I was broke as hell. Um, and then I drive off and I go back home. Here's the stupid part. So you would think that a normal person would have been embarrassed and ashamed and had said to themselves, I am never doing that shit again. Not me. Back in my brain, I was like, all that porn's still out there. I'm going to go get it. So the next day, I go out and I go to the exact same spot. And I get out there and I park on the side of the road because I don't want to go down the dirt road and take a chance of the car not starting again. So I just park on the side of the road. I got my car running and I walk down this dirt road. And as I'm walking down, I hear something. And so I'm walking slower. And as I round the corner, there's that guy who had helped me out yesterday. And he's got a shovel and he's burying the pornography. He turns around and he sees me and he looks me right in the eye. And he says, I suspected you were going to come back. And just like this moment of absolute shame hit me. It's the first time I had ever felt true shame in my life about what I had done. It's like, yeah, my kids found the porn and I'm just burying it. And it's like, it's all done now. And so I turned back around and headed towards the car. And I was just blown away by that. Now, it didn't stop me from obviously wanting more porn or looking for porn, but it was the first time I could really remember that there was absolute shame, and things started running through my head. It's like, oh man, does this guy know me at all? Because we lived in a really small town, and I wanted to make sure he didn't know my parents. Um, I don't ever remember it coming back to me, but some of the people that were out fishing that day, the first ones I had talked to, they knew me through friends. So I was worried. It's like, is he going to go talk to somebody else and I'll get found out? So that's the brain cycle of the addict, right? The brain cycle of the addict is, am I going to get figured out? Is somebody going to find me? Um, but it didn't stop me. It didn't stop me from doing what I was doing. Anyway, I hope you found the story interesting. If you haven't had the opportunity, go check out some of my other porn stories. As
Okay.
I've mentioned before, I've got so many porn stories, I didn't even know where to start with these. And the reason why I'm going through the storytelling process is so that it's therapeutic for me. I think confronting the addiction and understanding how bad I actually was is beneficial because it stops me from ever considering doing it again. But I also hope that this process helps you, help you tell your story. And if you're motivated to do so, go out to a forum, go to a 12-step program, tell other people because you'll find it beneficial. Tell them the deep, dark secrets that you don't want to tell. Tell them about, you know, something that was either embarrassing or something that you were ashamed of, and start telling those stories. Because the more you acknowledge them, the more you can acknowledge the addiction and what it has on your life, which it usually has a vice grip. Um, by acknowledging it, we do more to um, stop the addiction in its process and acknowledge the harms that it causes to us. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. This is Road to Recovery. Please stay on that road to recovery.